Lately, I've been going into my old PS2 and PS1 library and playing some games that I used to love when I was a kid. And if you're a regular on this channel, you know we've been revisiting classics that I never got to play as a kid, games I missed out on because of tight budgets, not having the right consoles, or just life getting in the way. There's something magical about popping in a disc, firing up the system, being instantly transported to a simpler time. The hum of my PS2 starting up shaking my table. Some people can even hear it when I'm streaming. It's great. The old menus, the startup music and sounds, it's just like a time machine. When I look at games coming out today, I can't help but wonder to an extent, will the new generation of gamers today, 20 years from now, get to do the same thing with all the games that they love? Or are we losing something that we haven't fully realized yet? Because here's the thing, more and more games today require an internet connection to work or even download in the case of Doom the Dark Ages. And they can be tied to servers, accounts, DRM systems, and that kind of, raises the big question, what happens when the servers go offline, which is talked about to a fair extent. If these servers go down or maintenance, you can't play your game. But what if they get shut down, which also happens from time to time? And if these systems get shut down, what happens to nostalgia if a game you grew up with just doesn't exist anymore? Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and being nostalgic for a game that's gone forever, man, that'd be tough. I'm grateful I didn't have to deal with it to the full extent yet, but there are some already in the past decade that I'm trying to think of, the first two that come to mind is I wish that original Overwatch still existed in its early day, and also to my knowledge, they still didn't put back the original Destiny 2 campaign, which that was a lot of fun to run through in multiplayer. So even me, a boomer of sorts in the gaming world, I guess, maybe, is still experiencing this to some degree. And even for games that I'm not personally nostalgic for, it's incredible to pop in an NES cartridge, for instance, here, and play something like Final Fantasy or Super Mario Bros. That, my dad describes playing, and it's like getting a glimpse into an older generation of gamers, a window into their world. It's not a full experience, obviously, but it's like, hey, this is how they played Mario with these little controllers. That connection to the past, I think it is something special. Preservation is an important thing. And we see this with other media too. You can pop in a movie from a previous time period, all that. Movies are preserved for the most part and still experience what things were like. Same thing with literature. You can read from different time periods, and it'd be nice that keeps going forward for gaming. Recent events in gaming is really what got me thinking about this from a nostalgia point of view, where you see stuff like Nintendo hinting you might not truly own your console, or Doom the Dark Ages not even being fully on the physical disc you buy. It's all pointing to a shift, in my opinion. There's a push toward renting your games even when you're paying a full price. And I see things like DRM and always online requirements kind of as like a long-term rental disguised as ownership. You can't play offline and you have to play on the seller's terms, and one day, who's to say those authentication servers will still be running? Then what? And we see games die all the time, shut down, delisted, or changed so much that the version you're nostalgic for is gone. The topic of DRM and always online gaming, that gets talked about a lot, and it should be. I don't love the idea that a product I paid for isn't mine to use whenever I want, but I don't see enough people connecting this game to the long-term game preservation and long-term nostalgia and what that could do to people. Not only not truly owning your game, but the game you're not owning might not even be there to show your kids one day or to hop back into for a weekend to relive a little bit of your past. As someone who runs a channel revisiting old games from a time I'm nostalgic for, I'm so glad that this wasn't an issue back then. I'll forever prefer grabbing the physical piece of media I bought, dusting it off from the shelf and popping it into a PS1 or a Game Boy. Not launching a game through a company's launcher that verifies my account or checks my Game Pass subscription status. And don't get me wrong, services like that, Game Pass, they have their place, and they're great for things. For instance, like discovery of new games that you might not have wanted to buy on your own, or whatever. People have their reasons, but a market that's increasingly reliant on renting instead of owning, that's what I see as a long-term problem. And game preservation isn't just like an abstract issue for me. I actually see its value because it's literally the reason I'm still playing a lot of games right now. Without it, I'd probably only play maybe one or two games a year. Honestly, a lot of modern games just don't resonate with me the way the older ones do, whether that be the simplicity, the creativity that I like. I felt like they took more chances and had less limitations on their storytelling, and that you could feel that they were always pushing those consoles to their maximum, you know, trying their hard to get as much as they could out of the current gen. All those things kind of just click, and that's why I'm still doing a lot of gaming, why this channel is going. Without game preservation, I wouldn't really have a lot of games to play here. Popping in Crash Bandicoots again, or playing Golden Sun for the first time, or Gears of War we just did for the first time, which is also kind of a reminder that it's not just nostalgia. Those games are still really good. I'm playing games that I'm not nostalgic for and never played before, and they're still, like, Gears of War and Golden Sun blew me away. It's kind of a reminder of why I fell in love with gaming in the first place back then. These games are still there. They're on cartridges and discs, ready to play whenever I want. No internet required. And that accessibility is, yeah, it's the reason that I'm still gaming and connected and why I'm making videos here, I guess. But I know some younger people who pretty much all of their favorite games require online play and online connectivity, and it just has me wondering, will those servers exist in 10 or 20 years? Will they get to have that same experience I'm having? Will they be able to share something like what Fortnite was, or Call of Duty, or any of those with their own kids, the way I can share Pokemon Blue with mine in the future? So I just want to make that distinction that it's more than about just keeping the game alive. It's tied into a broader spectrum about ensuring future generations can experience gaming history and games that shaped, you know, their family or friends that before them. Just like I said, the same way we can go back and read classic literature or watch movies from decades ago. Without that preservation, I think we're at risk of losing entire chapters of history. And I'm not trying to, like, gatekeep or say physical media is the only way to game. I do have to make clear I do prefer physical discs. But this isn't about being elitist or saying back in my day things were better. It's just about making sure gaming is accessible for everyone across all generations and keeping that going forward. Just like I'm able to pick up the games that my dad played and uncle and aunts before me, I think that's really cool. Something to actually consider and fight for. To me, gaming's art, culture, and history. Just like in other aspects, we should keep it alive. One day, you might want to pop in a game and show your kids what gaming was like when you were young. And wouldn't it be a shame if that game was just gone? So what do you think? Are you worried about the future of game preservation? Do you have any games that you're nostalgic for that you still play today from 20 years ago? Drop a comment below of the games you still play today. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, maybe subscribe if you like this type of stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care and peace.